Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me again, and I'm here with another conversation. Now, I was overblown yesterday, well, this morning, really, because I woke up and I just saw my feed, my news feed, and I saw Ray Liotta had died the day before, that night, okay? And I was shocked. I was in sort of like shocked, I came from where I grew up. I mean, I was not grown up. I spent half of my life in New Jersey. He was a Newark guy, Nicky Newark, one of those guys. And he was still so young and so popular and such a rugged handsomeness. He was in all of the movies that I had seen, and the thing was that they were people that I grew up with, all of those characters. And the thing is that immediately when it came to me, I tuned in, and he had not crossed over, all right? So there was, I'm hoping that he will come and he'll talk to us about it. I will first give us an introduction, and we'll see. Let me put his picture up so you can, well, before we go on, just if you want a private reading, you write to me any of these two emails, and I offer a free free lesson in movement, voice coaching, and breath work. Movement, voice coaching, and breath work. They're all movement. Okay, write to me. Now, let me put up his picture so you remember him along with me, and let me give you a bit of a background. His name is Ray Liotta, his Raymond Liotta. He was born in 1954, and he died yesterday. He was an American actor, and he was also a producer. He had things lined up these coming months. He was known for playing Shoeless Joe Jackson, and also Henry Hill in Goodfellas. Shoeless Joe Jackson in the movie A Field of Dreams. And the interesting thing about him is that, like I said, he was born in Newark, New Jersey, and he was abandoned at an orphanage. He was adopted at the age of 6 months by township clerk Mary Edgar and auto parts store owner Alfred Liotta. Alfred, the father who adopted him, was the son of Italian immigrants, and he was a personnel director and president of a local Democratic Party club. Ray's adoptive parents, each unsuccessfully, ran for local political office, and so they weren't ever famous in that regard. But Ray himself remembered that he attended parades to hand out flyers for his dad's run, okay? And Liotta had a sister, Linda, who was also adopted. So this couple had adopted 2 children. He said that he knew he was adopted as a young child, Ray did, and presented a show and tell report on it for kindergarten when he was in kindergarten. And he had hired at one point in time a private detective to locate his biological mother after the year 2000, and subsequently learned from her that she was mostly of Scottish descent. He had 1 biological sister, 1 biological half-brother, and 5 biological half-sisters, a combination. He grew up in a Roman Catholic household in Union, New Jersey, my hunting ground, although his family was not especially religious. They attended church, and he received First Communion as a sacrament and was confirmed, also confirmation, but the family did not pray much. And he occasionally used prayer in his daily life, Ray said. He was telling an interview, and he said, well, if I'm in a fix, I'll pray. If I'm feeling uncomfortable, about something, I'll say an Our Fathers or a Hail Mary to this day. He had graduated from Union High School, in Union High School Hall of Fame, and is in the Hall of Fame in that high school, and then graduated from the University of Miami, where he studied acting and received a Bachelor of Arts. He performed in musicals. This was something not known that much, as in Cabaret, Oklahoma, The Sound of Music, during his time there. So let me say that this is with particular heartfelt, I'm almost nervous about it, to converse with him, because it was so sudden, and I sat with the third order to usher him about, God, it was 70 minutes, 75 minutes. And he's in the light, he's fine, and he said he was willing to talk. So let's see if there are things that he could help us with, or tell us about his life, and maybe the success of his life, and what brought him to the end of his life, really. Let's see. I'm here, he's saying, I'm here. But it is very early for me to understand what kinds of messages people like you watching would be interested. And I think first it would be helpful for you to understand what happened at the very end. Those around me, my family, was shocked. And I understand they were waiting for me to wake up and start working, like so many friends and colleagues. It is true, I fell asleep and never woke up. My heart failed me during the night, but my soul was not ready to leave. And as I tell you these things, I only know quite summarily what my spirit is meant to do now. I am to be the savior of those children, those young souls who are abandoned. I will not reincarnate, and my fame and spirit, in the literal sense of the word, will provide those who are alone with motivation to carry through. But I am interested in understanding more for myself than to communicate to you, because I feel my future was on the screen. I was a role, and I played so many roles that I must say, actors, when we are overworked. We have difficulty in slowing our life down. My energy was never frenetic, but was boundless. This is how I am remembered by most of my friends. I brought them light. I remained earthbound because I was not ready, and instead, my soul is required to help those who have remained orphans, not only because of abandonment, but also because of the earth's turmoils and wars today. My greatest salute to mankind has always been to play a rough guy, a person who was tough, and then I had to play my final role as a weak soul where I was literally unable to go forward. I say this not to find pity nor to express regret, but perhaps to communicate that you never ever can know where your life ends, no matter how many seers or energy or light workers you go see. Only I am the bit by bit by bit type of guy and now soul that learns what the next job is, what my next role is. And I would like to now tell you how you can also play a role in your life in both positive and negative terms. It is true, I loved my work. I loved my friends, colleagues, and I loved life. Sometimes I felt I was greater than life, larger than life, boundless energy. But I played roles that terrified people. But yet they entertained, and my job was to entertain. I would like to entertain you now by suggesting you can be whoever you want to be. You can say goodbye to your old image that people know you by and will yourself to adopt a role that you need for a specific purpose. Only I can give you an example for this. You are working in a company that is fairly large. You have been there for over 6 years, but are tired of not moving forward or being acknowledged for what you do. You suggest to the powers that be in that company that you want and deserve and are appropriate for a role of responsibility. And then you do what you never thought you would do. You tell them you need motivation to stay with the company because you know that you are destined to do more and greater work, intimating that you will leave if not offered an opportunity. Yes, you are thinking, this is a hell of a risk, sure. But what do you have to lose except your job? And what did you learn and what did you gain? A strong perspective and stance when talking to someone else in a position of power. You got this. You can do this. And you should not be immune to pushing your powers and your prestige along with your gifts regularly, because ultimately that is what is going to make you get ahead. Okay, this guy is a talker. I need a break. It's as if he had a script, you know, and he was reading a script and just had to get it out. He has a lot to say and he's flabbergasted. He's so surprised that he was out like a light, and now he wants the opportunity to give back. And this is what I'm getting from him. He needs to communicate with you to see if he can help you in any way. Let's continue this. It is a just cause, this, that I'm doing for a very important reason, because not always do you have the opportunity to communicate with someone who has just passed the veil and gone to another temporal and astral plane. I am ready to serve, and I feel my light and shine my light readily for anyone who is willing to see. Of course, I had so many other projects, and surely I would have worked till the last of my days. Very soon, you too will understand what I am saying, because life, especially those of you who have young children or are responsible for some young people, whether you are teachers, professors, or coaches of young people, you feel that you need to plan, and your life is occupied with plans for the future so you can reliably and responsibly offer them support. But as you can see, those plans can dissipate in one snap of your fingers. Yes, I was a very busy actor, remarkably so. I was up there with the greatest names in acting today, and I had a very prolific career. I believe that perhaps those Hail Marys and Our Fathers I every now and then said did me good. And I am not now joking. I am serious when I say I felt I had a privileged rapport with my God. And this is something that you all need to harbor and cultivate. Cultivating a relationship with the divine, not only when you are in trouble, but when you need guidance, when you feel you are close to a very dark area, what people call a dark place or a dark hour of reckoning of your soul. Seek within, everyone says. But most of you say, I see nothing. I don't hear anything, like I did. What I can also tell you is that you need to try to speak to as many people who are around you, but who are so different from you. All kinds of people, men, women, other kinds of genders, all colors, and all society levels. This will open your mind remarkably and make you learn so much about yourself and about your purpose during your life. If you try to do this, you need to keep a diary of what happens during and after those moments when you push yourself or go willingly toward others and communicate with them. Jot it down and keep a diary of sorts, both of your dreams and of daily occurrences that surprise you, both positive and negative ones. I need to break. This guy is so intense. Like, I on the one hand, I feel like I'm talking to a preacher, on the other, I feel like I'm talking to somebody on the streets, somebody that homeless who's just hanging out and just, hey man, and telling his thing, telling his story with a certain kind of jive. And he sort of he sort of has an elastic band type of body and just is so malleable and so fluid. He's so fluid a character. It's a remarkable energy here. Remarkable. I have to go back and listen to this. Let's continue, see if we can understand some more. It may be time to stop talking and have somewhat a bit of fun with this conversation. Fun in the sense of happiness by talking to me, because I was not all that serious in my life. I was serious on the job, but I was very often the life of the party. I was a serious life of the party. I'm also again going to say this is a just cause. My communication with you is a just cause, because love is in my words, and I am trying to tell you how I sense what is happening to me, getting a sense of orientation or my bearings. But you know, there are none here. There is no place to stand. There is no perspective to take. I cannot stand and take a stand. I cannot look and say I'm looking from high to low. Life, as I remember it, is no longer. Here I am. I am like a cloud of moving energy that dances and stops, trying to think, but then there is nothing to really think about but being of service. This is what it is like here for me. There is a council that will be convening me, and I will be told and suggested how to go forward in this part of my soul's life. I was from a soul group of origin that is called a changer, a blueprint changer. Blueprinters as a soul group were those souls who came to this planet to create an emotional body for humans. And my specific soul group of origin, blueprint changer, is someone who literally incarnates with the purpose of changing humans' consciousness. I believe that I was not doing that job well, and perhaps this is the true reason why I was called, because my soul and its purpose is best used here for guidance of those souls who were abandoned. Very simply, I can say this about my soul, and many of you can learn about your own souls. There is a lot to be said about stories, books, novels, screenplays, movies, cinemas, theater, plays. All of those represent stories. But our soul enacts and embodies our stories. Please try to wrap your head around that, and you will understand that you are not a body, but you are a soul with a body. This will make you understand where you are most needed. Thank you and goodbye. That was amazing. He came in a flash, said his piece, and said it well, with a slight tint in the beginning of not awkwardness, but still not knowing what had happened. But yes, I know, but then the counsel, then I have to go back and listen. I do really hope this was of help to anyone. Talking about conversations with souls. As you know, I do channel souls, and you can find that on my services page, christelmartinet.com. And there you can also find what is called past life regression. Past life regression is when I'm a hypnotherapist and I only work with past life regression. I take you back, and together we go and look for what has brought you where you are. It's fascinating. Another very interesting that he made me think of are soul therapy readings. He mentioned his soul group of origin and what it was about. My soul therapy sessions are that I work with the Akashic records. I read them for your soul, giving you all the information about your soul, lessons, specializations, and whatnot, your divine energy centers and gifts, and find the blocks and restrictions in particular past lives where something had taken place, where you made negative choices and have accumulated negative attachments, and those are cleared. And the last, of course, going to my ClaudiaMonacelli.com Start Moving page, and there, come in for breath work, try it out. Start Moving with Grace, try it out, and the voice consciousness in grace. These are moving with grace consciousness, breathwork consciousness. You have to try it. The first lesson is free. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. Stay well. And have those of you in the United States have a great Memorial Day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, I will be back, as she says.